How to survive World War III when the cities are already burning, your passport is worthless, and every safe country list you've ever read was written by someone who's never left their apartment. Because here's what nobody tells you, not the geopolitical analysts, not the preppers drowning in freeze-dried beans. The question isn't if World War III starts. The question is, where are you standing when it does? And the answer is almost certainly wrong. Picture this. It's 2026. The South China Sea has officially stopped being a metaphor. 3 carrier groups are playing chicken. NATO's Article 5 just got invoked for the first time in history, not because of a missile, but a cyber attack that knocked out a Baltic state's power grid. Russia calls it a technical misunderstanding. Nobody's laughing. Meanwhile, the Persian Gulf is on fire, not metaphorically. U.S. and Israeli strikes dismantled Iran's nuclear infrastructure, and Tehran responded by mining the Strait of Hormuz, the choke point for 20% of the world's oil. 3 separate military crises are running simultaneously, each one a single miscalculation away from becoming the same war. The world isn't on the brink. The world is the brink. Meanwhile, you're Googling safest countries like that's going to save you. It won't. Those lists are based on vibes, tourism brochures, the same recycled geography lesson about New Zealand being far away. Yes, New Zealand is far away. So's the moon. You're not moving there either. What you actually need is a threat-weighted, resource-verified, geopolitically honest breakdown of where a human body has the highest statistical probability of surviving, not where it's pretty, where it's survivable. So let's kill the biggest myth immediately. Everyone talks about avoiding nuclear strikes like it's just a matter of staying away from Washington and Moscow. You're not fine, you're just uninformed. Modern nuclear targeting doctrine, specifically the U.S. SIOP framework and its Russian equivalent, the GROM protocol, doesn't just target capitals, it targets counterforce assets, military bases, radar installations, submarine ports, fuel depots, and this is the part that ruins your safe list, agricultural breadbaskets. Yes, farmland, because if you want to break an enemy's will to fight over years, you don't just blow up their cities, you blow up their ability to eat. Soviet nuclear targeting maps from the 1980s, declassified in 2014, showed strike coordinates over the Midwest, not because Iowa has a missile silo, but because Iowa feeds the army. So you're not just avoiding cities, you're avoiding anything a military planner has circled as strategically valuable. There are also 4 ways World War III actually kills you, and they don't all work the same. First, direct strike. Obvious, fast, and statistically the least likely to get you unless you're within 15 kilometers of a Tier 1 military asset. Second, fallout drift, the quiet killer. An atmospheric dispersion model shows a ground burst on a major European city deposits lethal cesium-137 concentrations 800 kilometers downwind within 72 hours. You don't need to be near the explosion, you need to be upwind of it, permanently. Third, supply chain collapse, what actually kills most people. The average urban area has 72 hours of food in its distribution network. After that, you're on your own. And your own better mean something. Finally, secondary conflict spillover, the wars that start because of World War III, resource wars, water wars, the internal chaos that erupts when governments collapse and armed groups fill the vacuum. History is clear. The deadliest part of any world war isn't the main event, it's the chaos that spreads into places that thought they were watching from a safe distance.
Now, the actual list, with the reasoning. Number 1 on the planet, Patagonia, Argentina. Not the country, the region. The southern cone sits where atmospheric cells create a near-total barrier to Northern Hemisphere fallout. A nuclear exchange deposits almost nothing here. Argentina is also a top 5 global wheat producer. In a blockade, Patagonia feeds itself for decades. It has massive freshwater reserves, geothermal potential, and a population density so low that secondary conflicts have nothing to feed on. The catch? Stay out of Buenos Aires. It's a logistics hub, and exactly the kind of place that gets ugly when global supply chains collapse. Patagonia's interior? Nobody's fighting over that. That's the point. Next, Paraguay, the most underweighted coordinate on the list. No coastline, no strategic ports. What it has is the Guaraní Aquifer, one of Earth's largest freshwater reserves, sitting directly beneath it, completely isolated from surface contamination. Every river could be poisoned, every coastal city burning. Paraguay still has clean water. It has no foreign military bases. It has never appeared on a known nuclear targeting list. Its landlocked geography is exactly what makes it so interesting. Then there's Bhutan, the kingdom that's genuinely invisible. No alliances with any nuclear power. The eastern Himalayas make a ground invasion essentially impossible. 70% forest cover and centuries of subsistence farming mean a global supply chain collapse hits them last and lightest. The only real risk is proximity to the India-China doctrine tension zone. But in a Western conflict, Bhutan is as close to invisible as a country gets. Western Australia, specifically Perth. Sydney, Canberra, Pine Gap, they're all strategically compromised by U.S. military infrastructure. Perth is different. It's the most isolated major city on Earth. It has mineral wealth, solar potential, and agricultural capacity. It could function as an independent island state if the rest of the country collapses. No targeting priority, just distance and the kind of obscurity that keeps you alive. Finally, Aysén in Chilean Patagonia, the one nobody mentions. 1 person per square kilometer. It has the largest temperate rainforest outside the Pacific Northwest, glacial water that doesn't need treatment, hydroelectric potential that runs indefinitely, and Southern Hemisphere wind patterns keep it clean in virtually every modeled nuclear exchange. It is one of the most geopolitically invisible coordinates on the planet. But here's the part nobody wants to hear. The best survival location isn't a country or a coordinate. It's a decision made long before the crisis. The people who survive global conflicts aren't the ones who ran to the right place at the last minute. They're the ones who were already there, with the relationships, the skills, the land. Every single location on this list becomes a death trap if you arrive as a stranger, but every one of them becomes survivable if you can grow food, fix things, and make yourself useful to the people already there. The geography matters. The Guaraní Aquifer and the alpine bunkers absolutely matter, but the most important variable isn't on any map. It's whether you've done anything before the sirens start to become the kind of person a community wants to keep alive. The world ends in layers. You survive each one by already having built something in the one below it. So where do you want to be when World War III starts? Somewhere you already belong. Start building that now. It's not about a bunker, not a passport to Fiji. It's just geography, science, and the unavoidable truth that survival has always been a community sport.